All right, today we're unpacking a source that presents the carnivore diet as something, well, much more than just a diet. It's positioned as a tool for a complete biological reset. The claims are pretty extraordinary, so let's just dive right in and see what it's all about.
The source material kicks off with this really powerful quote. It's a bold way to start, and it immediately frames what we're about to hear not as just some health tips, but as something almost miraculous happening deep inside the body.
So where are all these huge claims coming from? Well, the entire argument is really built around the speaker's own personal story. He talks about this dramatic inside-out transformation that he presents as, living proof of the diet's power.
And just look at the scale of these results. We're talking so much more than just weight loss here. The claims touch on pretty much every system: healing the brain, the heart, the gut, reversing diagnosed chronic conditions. These aren't just minor tweaks. We're talking about complete turnarounds of really serious life-altering illnesses.
And this right here, this is the core idea. The speaker is basically arguing that if you're just looking at the number on the scale, you're missing the entire point. The goal isn't just weight loss, it's about triggering this deep healing process that starts with our most vital organs.
So how does this deep healing supposedly even start? According to the source, it all begins by completely resetting our metabolism, and the focus is on three key areas: the liver, our hormones, and that fat that we can't even see. To really set the stage for the problem, the source points to a pretty startling statistic. Somewhere between 30 and 40% of American adults are thought to have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's described as a full-blown epidemic that's even starting to affect children.
Now, here's maybe the most shocking claim of all. The turnaround is supposedly incredibly fast. The source asserts that just by cutting carbohydrates out completely, a fatty liver can clear up in as little as 3 to 7 days. This is basically positioned as the very first domino to fall in the body's whole healing cascade.
Okay, so after the liver, the focus shifts over to our hormones. The claim is that this diet normalizes the body's entire signaling system. Insulin drops, those hunger and fullness cues finally recalibrate, and even stress hormones stabilize. And the result of all this? A state the speaker actually calls carnivore zen, a deep, profound sense of calm.
This next point is really crucial. We're not talking about the kind of fat you can pinch on your stomach. The source argues this diet is uniquely effective at targeting visceral fat, that dangerous, inflammatory fat that's wrapped around our internal organs, which, by the way, can affect anyone, even people who look really thin on the outside. All right, so we've gone from big systems like organs and hormones, and now the source zooms way in, down to the microscopic level. The next big claim is that this way of eating completely overhauls our cellular engines, how we actually create energy and defend ourselves from getting sick.
When it comes to our mitochondria, which are basically the power plants inside our cells, the source uses this really simple junk in, junk out analogy. A diet full of seed oils and sugar is junk fuel, and that leads to fatigue. On the flip side, meat and animal fats are presented as the proper fuel for clean, efficient energy.
Next up is something called autophagy. Think of it like your body's natural cleanup crew. It goes around recycling damaged, or as they're called here, zombie cells. The claim is that because people on this diet often end up eating just once a day, that long fasting period puts this whole cellular cleanup process into overdrive.
We've all been there, right? Feeling totally run down, maybe fighting off another cold, just not feeling like yourself. This very common, relatable feeling is used to set up one of the most absolute, no-holds-barred claims in the entire source material.
And there it is. It's a direct, almost unbelievable statement. The argument is that because the body is no longer constantly fighting inflammation from processed foods, the immune system is totally freed up. And because of that, people on this diet simply stop getting sick.
So this claimed physical resilience then leads directly to the mind-body connection. The source argues that the benefits don't just stop at the body, they extend to our most critical organs: the brain, the heart, and even our eyes. The argument here really boils down to what kind of fuel you're using. The source claims it's a scientific fact that both the brain and the heart run way better on ketones than they do on glucose. And for dramatic proof, the speaker points to his own personal experience of reversing his congestive heart failure.
To make this cognitive claim really tangible, he shares this super relatable anecdote. Before he changed his diet, watching a show like Jeopardy was a real struggle for him. He says his mind just felt slow and foggy, and he could barely answer any questions.
And the contrast he paints is just stark.
After changing his diet, he claims his mind is so sharp that answers just pop into his head, seemingly out of nowhere. It's presented as this really powerful example of the mental clarity that can come from switching the brain's fuel source.
Now, this one was one of the most unexpected claims for me: improved eyesight. The source points to hundreds of anecdotal reports of people's vision actually getting better, with some even needing weaker prescriptions from their eye doctor. The argument here is that maybe vision decline isn't just about getting older. Maybe it's about our diet.
And all of this, it all builds up to the final, and I'd say most profound claim of the source material. This is where the argument really moves beyond the purely biological and gets into something more philosophical.
So it all culminates in this one big idea, that physical health is the absolute foundation for having a purpose in life. The source argues that a sick body and a foggy brain create this kind of barrier, making it basically impossible to pursue any real spiritual or personal growth. This single quote really captures the entire vision. It's presented as a chain reaction. You heal your body, and that automatically heals your brain, which then, in turn, heals your spirit. The diet is framed as just the first domino in a total transformation of the self.
So, in the end, the source material leaves us with this breathtakingly ambitious idea. The suggestion is that by changing what's on our plates, we can heal not just our own bodies, but maybe humanity itself. It's a powerful thought to leave you with, right? Could the path to our best selves actually be hidden in what we eat? That's all for today's Explainer.